Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be diving into something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, open source AI agents.
Oh, yeah, it's a fascinating area.
So imagine a world where you have a whole team of AI assistants working for you 2047. Absolutely free. But this isn't some, futuristic fantasy.
Right.
It's happening right now.
It is. It's really happened right now.
So to really break this down,
Yeah.
what's the difference between AI agents and things that we've heard of like large language models and generative AI?
So generative AI and large language models are incredible tools.
Right.
But AI agents are actually going a step further.
Okay.
They can take actions and achieve goals independently.
So it's like they're really acting on their own.
Yeah, almost like independent actors in a way.
Wow. So it's like the difference between having like a really smart research paper
Yeah.
and having someone who can take that research and actually like put it into practice.
Right, exactly. Like if a large language model is like a brilliant researcher, an AI agent is like a researcher plus a lab assistant plus a project manager all rolled into one.
That's a great analogy.
They can actually get things done.
So where do these open source AI agents come in?
Well, to really understand what's happening in this space, we're going to be diving into this document highlighting the top open source AI agents.
Okay.
And they're ranked by their popularity on GitHub.
Cool.
And it's amazing to see the sheer variety of what's out there.
Yeah.
We've got agents that can write code, agents that analyze research papers.
That's wild.
There's something for everyone, it seems.
Okay, so before we get lost in, all the really cool applications of this, which I'm sure we'll get to,
Yeah, definitely.
let's take a step back and talk about why open source is such a big deal when it comes to AI agents.
So the beauty of open source is that it levels the playing field.
Right.
Anyone can use these powerful tools,
Okay.
regardless of their budget.
Uh-huh.
So it's a game changer, especially for, small companies,
Makes sense.
startups, and even individual developers.
So it's really opening up access to this cutting-edge technology for everyone.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
It democratizes AI agent development.
But with that in mind, isn't there a risk because AI is such a powerful technology?
Yeah.
So by open sourcing it, could that lead to, misuse or even dangerous application?
It's a valid concern.
Right.
And it's one that the open source community takes very seriously.
Okay.
So there's a strong emphasis on building safeguards,
Uh-huh.
promoting responsible use.
Okay.
But on the flip side, open source also means transparency.
Okay.
So you can actually see how the AI works.
Right.
Which is crucial for building trust and understanding its limitations.
So it's not just this black box where we don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
We can actually look under the hood and see how these things are being developed.
Absolutely. And that transparency can help to mitigate some of the risks that you mentioned.
So is it kind of like by open sourcing it, it's almost like a shared responsibility?
I think that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
It allows the community to collectively address potential issues as they arise.
Right. So more eyes on the problem means that, there's more of a chance of catching these things early.
Exactly. It's about fostering a collaborative environment where developers worldwide can work together,
Awesome.
share knowledge, and contribute to building safe and beneficial AI.
That makes a lot of sense.
This kind of collective effort leads to rapid improvements and innovative solutions that wouldn't be possible within the confines of closed proprietary systems.
So it really does sound like open source is a key driver in accelerating progress in, the AI agent landscape.
I think so.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's dive into some of the different types of AI agents that are out there.
Okay.
Because I know that from our source material, there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a ton.
So what are some of the categories that stand out to you?
One category that immediately stands out is developer tools.
Okay.
So these AI agents, they're like having a super-powered coding buddy.
Oh, wow. By your side.
Cool.
They can help you write, debug, and even optimize your code.
Okay, so that sounds incredible, especially for someone like me who maybe isn't the best coder in the world.
Right.
More of a copy and paste kind of guy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that.
But what about, more complex tasks? Like,
Mhm.
can these agents handle things beyond just writing lines of code?
Absolutely.
Okay. We also have multi-agent systems where multiple AI agents can work together
Right.
or even compete to solve more complex problems.
So like a team of AI agents, all working towards a common goal.
You could think of it like a simulation where AI agents represent different actors in a market or an ecosystem.
Okay.
And by studying how they interact, we can gain insights into those complex systems and maybe find better solutions.
It's like running a virtual experiment with an army of AI agents.
It's a powerful tool for understanding complex systems.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
What other fascinating categories are out there?
Well, there's also general purpose agents, and these are like the Swiss Army knives of the AI world,
Oh, wow.
capable of handling a wide range of tasks.
So like a jack of all trades.
You could say that.
Oh,
Customer support, research, personal assistant, you name it.
So the possibilities are pretty much endless.
It seems that way, yeah.
It's mind-boggling to think about, like, how much this could potentially change things.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be following this field.
For sure. And so we talked about, these different types of AI agents, but I know that there are also tools out there that allow just normal users,
Right.
people like me who aren't, coding wizards,
Mm-hmm.
to build their own AI agents.
Yeah, those are called custom agent builders.
Okay.
And they provide frameworks and interfaces that are more user-friendly,
Gotcha.
empowering anyone, regardless of their technical background, to create AI solutions that are tailored to their specific needs.
So it's like giving everyone the building blocks to create their own personalized AI-powered tools.
Exactly, and that's where the real democratization comes in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really exciting development.
So we've talked about, like, the open source and the types.
Yeah,
But I want to talk about a specific example because I know that we have that in our source material.
right.
And it's a platform called GPT Console.
Yes, GPT Console.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So GPT Console has garnered a lot of attention for its agent called Pixie.
Okay, Pixie, I've heard of that, yeah.
So Pixie can actually build entire React.js applications from scratch based on a simple text prompt.
Hold on. So you're saying I could just say, like, I need a website for my bakery,
Right.
and this AI agent could create the entire website?
It's incredible. It really is.
Wow.
It utilizes something called an abstract syntax tree, or AST, to ensure that the code it generates is well-structured and functional.
Okay, now, I have to admit,
Yeah.
abstract syntax tree,
It sounds a little intimidating.
it sounds a little intimidating.
I know, but it's not that complicated. Basically, you can think about it as a blueprint for the code.
Okay,
So Pixie uses this blueprint
gotcha.
to understand the structure and logic of the code it's generating. So it's not just spitting out random lines of code, it's actually building a coherent program.
So it's understanding, like, the bigger picture of how code works, how websites are built.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
And that's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
So Pixie is one of the agents in GPT Console. Are there other agents on that platform as well?
Yes, there's Chip,
Okay.
which acts like a AI coding assistant.
Gotcha.
And then there's Bird, which specializes in social media management.
Wow, so it's like a suite of AI tools all in one platform.
It's really quite versatile.
And it's all open source.
Yes, all open source.
That's amazing.
It's really a game changer in terms of what's possible with AI.
It really does feel like, we're on the cusp of, like, a major shift in how we work and interact with technology in general.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time.
But as with all, great power comes great responsibility, right?
Absolutely.
We can't just, like, get caught up in the excitement of all this without considering the potential consequences.
Of course not. We need to be mindful of the broader societal impacts as AI agents become more sophisticated and integrated into our lives.
Right, because, it's really cool that, Pixie can build me a website for my bakery.
Yeah.
But what are the, the bigger picture implications of that?
That's a really important question that we need to be asking ourselves.
Yeah, and so before we, jump into all of that,
Yeah.
let's take a moment to just kind of recap what we've talked about so far.
Okay.
So we started by talking about open source AI agents.
Right.
And why open source is so important.
It's about democratizing access, promoting transparency, and collaboration.
Exactly. And then we talked about the different types of AI agents.
We talked about developer tools, multi-agent systems, general-purpose agents, and custom agent builders.
It's pretty amazing to see the variety that's already out there.
Yeah, the creativity and ingenuity in this field is inspiring.
And then we talked about GPT Console and Pixie.
Right, a really compelling example of what open source AI agents can do.
Yeah, building an entire website from a text prompt.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is.
It shows the potential of this technology to empower individuals and make complex tasks more accessible.
So it's clear that AI agents are no longer just a futuristic concept.
Right.
This is a rapidly evolving reality.
Absolutely.
And it's something that has the potential to revolutionize countless aspects of our lives.
I think that's a great way to sum it up.
So we've got a lot more to discuss, but we'll save that for after the break.
Sounds good.
So before we went to break, we were talking about Pixie and GPT Console and all the really cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But now I think we should jump into, like, the real-world implications of all this.
Absolutely.
Because it's really easy to, get caught up in how cool this tech is.
Yeah.
But we also need to be realistic about, the challenges.
Right, exactly.
So what are some of the things that come to mind for you?
Well, one of the biggest questions surrounding AI agents, I think, is their impact on the job market.
Okay, yeah.
Because if these agents can automate tasks that were previously done by humans,
Right.
what happens to those workers?
It's a valid concern, and it's something that I think we, need to address proactively.
Absolutely.
We can't just ignore it.
We can't just bury our heads in the sand.
Yeah.
We need to be thinking about things like retraining programs
Right.
to help people acquire new skills
That makes a lot of sense.
that are in demand in this evolving landscape.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's one thing to say, like, oh, we need to create new jobs.
Right.
But it's another thing to actually, like, help people transition.
Absolutely. It's about providing people with the tools and resources they need to succeed in this new world.
So rather than viewing these AI agents, like, as a threat, we should see them as, an opportunity to rethink how we work.
I agree.
And create new opportunities.
It's a chance to really reimagine the future of work.
That's a really good point.
And ensure that the benefits of AI are shared broadly.
Right.
And that no one is left behind.
Yeah, we want to make sure that everyone benefits from this.
Absolutely.
So I think that, this kind of leads into another big question.
Yeah.
Which is responsible development and deployment
Yes.
of AI agents. Because, I mean, as they become more sophisticated
Right.
and autonomous,
Yeah, more independent.
we really need to ensure that, like, they're making decisions
Right.
that align with, our values.
Of course, we don't want AI making decisions that could harm people or go against our ethical principles.
Yeah, exactly. And I know a big thing in the AI space right now is, like, eliminating bias.
Absolutely. AI bias is a serious concern.
So how do we make sure that these agents aren't, like, perpetuating those existing biases?
Transparency is key.
Okay.
With open source AI, we have the advantage of being able to actually scrutinize the algorithms
Yeah.
and the data.
That makes sense. So it's not this, like, black box.
Right, exactly.
We can actually see what's going on.
And by making the inner workings of these agents visible, we can identify and address potential biases more effectively.
But, on the flip side, open source means that, like, anyone can contribute.
Right.
So how do we ensure that, like, everyone who's involved in this is committed to those same ethical principles?
That's where the strength of the open source community really comes in. There's a strong culture of peer review and collective responsibility.
So it's kind of like, checks and balances.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
Developers are constantly evaluating each other's work, identifying potential issues, and working together to improve these systems.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's like, a self-regulating community.
To a certain extent, yes. And this collaborative approach can help to ensure that ethical considerations are at the forefront of AI agent development.
Well, that's really good to hear, because I think a lot of people, when they hear about, this technology, there is this, like,
Fear.
Yeah, fear that, like, it could get out of control.
It's understandable.
But it sounds like the open source community is really taking that responsibility seriously.
They are, and I think that's one of the most encouraging aspects of this field.
Awesome. Okay, so we've talked about, like, the responsible development.
Right.
But I want to get back to, like, some of the specific examples.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
we talked about GPT console and Pixie.
Right.
But are there other, like, noteworthy open source agents out there
Absolutely.
that people should know about?
The source material we're looking at actually provides a really great overview of some of the top agents
Okay,
categorized by their functionality.
cool.
So, for example, there are agents that are designed specifically for research assistants.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so, like, what would a research-focused AI agent do?
Well, imagine an agent that could sift through vast amounts of scientific literature, identify relevant studies, and even extract key findings and summarize them for you.
So it's like having a, like, super-powered research assistant?
Yeah, essentially, it
Wow.
could save researchers countless hours of manual work.
That would be a game changer, especially in fields where, like, new research is constantly coming out.
Absolutely. It could really accelerate the pace of scientific discovery.
And beyond research, are there other areas where, like, these agents are being used in, like, interesting ways?
We're seeing a surge in the development of AI agents for creative tasks as well.
Oh, creative. Okay.
Yeah, there are agents that can compose music,
Whoa, hold on.
generate art, and even write stories.
So you're telling me that AI can be creative?
That's a fascinating area of exploration.
It is, because I always thought that, like, creativity
Right.
was something that was, like, uniquely human.
Yeah, and it's still up for debate whether these agents are truly creative in the same sense as humans,
Okay,
but they can produce novel and interesting outputs.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it challenges our notions of what's possible.
So it sounds like, we're entering this era where that line between human creativity and AI-generated content is becoming increasingly blurred.
It is, and it's raising a lot of interesting questions.
It is. It's, like, exciting and a little bit, like, unsettling at the same time.
I think that's a fair assessment.
But, it's happening, and we need to kind of, like, grapple with that.
Absolutely. We need to have open and honest conversations about the role of AI in creative fields.
Yeah, and I think that's something that, people are starting to do,
They are, and I think that's really important.
because we don't want to just, like, ignore it.
Right. We need to be proactive about addressing these challenges.
Yeah,
And figuring out how we can best navigate these evolving boundaries.
you're right. And we also want to, make sure that we're supporting
Yes.
human artists and creatives.
Absolutely. We need to find ways to support and empower human creativity in this new landscape.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's another area where the open source nature of these projects can be really valuable.
Okay, how so?
By making these tools accessible to everyone, we can foster a more inclusive and collaborative environment
Right.
where humans and AI can work together to push the boundaries of creative expression.
So it's like rather than AI replacing human creativity,
Right.
it's more about humans and AI kind of working in tandem.
Exactly. It's about finding ways to leverage the strengths of both to create something truly innovative and extraordinary.
Now, I want to touch on another category of agents that, our source material mentions.
Okay.
And these are AI voice agents.
Yes, fascinating area.
And this is something that, I'm personally super interested in
I understand why.
because it seems like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does. It really does.
So can you tell me a little bit more about, what AI voice agents are?
Sure, AI voice agents are revolutionizing the way we interact with technology. Imagine being able to control your devices, access information, and even get things done simply by using your voice.
Right, so it's like that hands-free, intuitive interaction
Exactly.
that, I've always kind of dreamed of.
Yeah, like talking to your computer and having it understand you.
Exactly.
It's becoming more and more of a reality.
And so, what are some real-world examples of how AI voice agents are being used today?
Well, think about smart assistants like Alexa or Siri.
Right?
They're already commonplace in homes and offices.
I use mine all the time.
Yeah, and they allow you to do so much with just your voice, like controlling your lights, playing music, setting reminders, even shopping online.
Yeah, it's so convenient. I can't imagine my life without it now.
It's really transforming the way we live.
But, on the flip side,
Yeah.
I always have this, little voice in the back of my head, what about the privacy implications?
Right? That's a valid concern.
Because it's, always listening.
It is, and as these agents become more prevalent, ensuring user privacy is absolutely crucial.
So how do we balance that, the convenience
Yeah.
with the need for privacy?
That's where the open source community is making a significant contribution.
Okay, I'm curious. How so?
By developing open source voice assistants,
Okay.
developers can create systems that are transparent and auditable.
So it's not just some big company
Right.
that we have to just trust.
Exactly. You can actually see how the system works.
And so that gives users more control over their data.
It does, and it ensures that their privacy is respected.
Okay, so we've talked about research, creativity, voice interaction, and I know that there's another area that I want to touch on,
Okay.
which is AI agents for cybersecurity.
Yes, a critical area.
Because, as our reliance on technology increases,
Right, our digital lives are expanding.
so does the need for, robust cybersecurity.
Absolutely, and AI is playing an increasingly important role in protecting our data and infrastructure.
So can you give me some specific examples of, how AI agents are being used in cybersecurity?
Sure, AI agents can analyze network traffic, detect anomalies, and even respond to threats in real time.
Oh, wow.
They can learn from past attacks and adapt their defenses to stay ahead of evolving threats.
So it's like having an AI security guard.
Yeah, constantly patrolling the digital landscape,
That's a great analogy.
looking for signs of trouble.
Okay, and so how is open source, playing a role in this?
Well, the fact that many of these cybersecurity AI agents are open source means that organizations of all sizes can benefit from this advanced protection.
So it's not just big companies
Exactly.
with tons of money.
It levels the playing field, making sophisticated security tools accessible to everyone.
Which is really important because, cybersecurity is a concern for everyone these days.
It is. It's a shared responsibility.
It really is amazing to see how AI agents are being used in such a diverse range of fields.
It is. It's a testament to the power and versatility of this technology.
Yeah, from research to creativity to voice interaction to cybersecurity, it's like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
I agree. And as these agents continue to evolve, we can expect to see even more innovative applications emerge.
But, with all of this potential,
Yeah.
it's important to remember that AI agents are tools.
Right. They're not a magic solution.
And like any tool, they can be used for good or for bad.
Exactly. It's up to us as a society to ensure that these tools are used responsibly and ethically to create a future where AI benefits all of humanity.
Okay, so as we move forward in this conversation,
Yeah.
it's clear that, we're not just talking about lines of code and algorithms.
Right.
We're talking about, like, shaping the future.
We are shaping the future.
A future where AI plays an increasingly important role in our lives.
And the decisions we make today will determine what that future looks like.
It's a responsibility that we all share.
We do. We all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI.
So we talked about a lot of really interesting stuff so far.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
Research, creativity, cybersecurity, voice interaction. I mean,
It's incredible to think about all the different ways AI agents are already being used.
it really is. And it feels like, we're just at the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
But, as exciting as all of this is, I think it's important to talk about some of the challenges, too.
Right, because with any new technology, there are always challenges that need to be addressed.
So besides the impact on the job market and, the whole ethical development thing, are there any other, like, big challenges that we need to be thinking about as these AI agents become, like, more and more integrated into our lives?
Yeah, one of the biggest challenges, I think, is ensuring that these agents are reliable
Okay.
and trustworthy.
That makes sense, yeah.
Because as they become more autonomous, we need to have confidence that they're going to make the right decisions.
Yeah, especially when the stakes are high.
Exactly. I mean, imagine relying on an AI agent to control a self-driving car.
Right.
Or, to manage a critical piece of infrastructure.
Like a power grid or something?
Yeah, a single error could have disastrous consequences.
So how do we build that trust?
Well, rigorous testing and validation are essential.
Okay.
We need to put these agents through their paces in simulated environments.
Gotcha.
Expose them to a wide range of scenarios.
So kind of like stress testing.
In a way, yes.
Okay.
We need to make sure they can handle unexpected situations gracefully.
So it's like before you let someone fly a plane, you put them in a flight simulator.
Right, exactly.
Make sure they can handle, any turbulence.
It's a similar concept.
Okay.
But even after an AI agent is deployed, ongoing monitoring is crucial.
Right. So it's not just like, okay, we built it, set it free, and hope for the best.
No, it's an ongoing process.
Gotcha.
We need to track its performance, identify any anomalies or biases that might emerge, and be prepared to intervene if necessary.
So it's like continuous learning and improvement?
Exactly, just like with any complex system.
That makes sense.
And this is where the open source approach can be incredibly valuable.
Okay, yeah, tell me more about that.
Because by sharing knowledge and collaborating openly, developers can learn from each other's experiences,
Right?
identify potential pitfalls, and build more robust and trustworthy AI agents.
So it's like the community is working together to make these agents better.
Precisely, it's a collective effort to ensure the safety and reliability of this technology.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of the most encouraging aspects of this field.
Now, another challenge I see is like the whole standardization thing.
Right, interoperability.
Yeah, because right now it feels like there are so many different AI agent platforms
It's true, there's a lot of fragmentation in the field.
and frameworks. It's like everyone is speaking a different language.
That's a great analogy. Imagine trying to build a city where each building uses a different type of electrical outlet.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It would be chaos.
Yeah, nothing would work together.
Exactly.
So how do we solve that?
We need to establish common standards and protocols
Okay.
that allow AI agents from different developers to communicate and collaborate effectively.
So kind of like we need a universal translator for AI agents.
Precisely. We need a way for these different systems to speak to each other.
And is that something that's like, being worked on?
It is. The open source community is actively working on developing open standards for AI agents.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, because by breaking down these barriers, we can create a more unified and interoperable AI ecosystem.
Where everything just works together seamlessly.
Exactly. That's the goal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be working in this field.
It really is. It feels like, we're building the future right now.
We are, in a very real sense.
So I guess my final question is like, where do you see all of this going?
Mm-hmm.
What's the future of open source AI agents?
It's a big question.
It is, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Well, if current trends are any indication,
Yeah.
I think we're on the verge of a major paradigm shift in how we interact with technology.
Oh, wow. Okay, so what do you mean by that?
I envision a future where AI agents become seamlessly integrated into our daily lives,
Okay.
acting as our personal assistants, advisors, even collaborators.
So it's like, we have our phones in our pockets right now,
Right.
but in the future it'll be like we have like AI agents in our lives.
In a way, yes. It's about moving beyond screens and devices and towards more intelligent and personalized interactions with technology.
That's really cool, but how do we get there?
I think open source development is the key.
Okay.
Because by making these tools accessible to everyone,
Right.
we can empower individuals, foster innovation, and create a more equitable and inclusive technological landscape.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but about how we choose to develop it and use it.
Exactly. It's about shaping the future of AI in a way that benefits all of humanity.
And that's a powerful thought, you know?
It is.
Like it reminds us that we're not just like, passive observers in all of this.
We have agency.
Yeah, we have the power to influence the direction of this technology.
Absolutely, and that's a responsibility we should all take seriously.
Well said. And so, as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of open source AI agents,
Yeah.
I really want to thank you for taking this journey with me.
It's been a pleasure.
And I hope that everyone listening has learned something new and that you're as excited as we are about, the potential of open source AI agents to shape a brighter future.
I hope so too. It's an exciting time to be alive.
It really is. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.